starting to slide.
Yeah, it's exciting though, right? Both teams are 12-4, and at the very start of the split, J Team versus DCG ended up in a DCG win. They were the most surprising team with the way they drafted, and now they sit in the upper echelon alongside J Team, where neck and neck these teams are currently tied, but J Team are the ones on a win streak. Deep Cross Gaming, you're right, a little bit shaky coming through with a loss from Frank Esports, one from PSG Talon. And recently as well, PSG smacked them a couple of times. For J-Team, this would be everything. For DCG, the same story goes. Welcome to Summoner's Rift, and welcome to a game that is going to be very interesting to watch out, because we do have the range you talked about from J-Team, especially from Driver on this chase, Uniboy on the Ari. Lane matchups that Kongyue can really influence.
Yeah, a lot of shoving lanes here for the side of J-Team, so it's going to be kind of just a lot of possibilities offered to Kongyue as far as where he could gank, or at the very least, just try and pressure this Hecarim in his jungle.
Yep.
And for Nesty, like he gets his Galio, he goes Predator. Again, we PCS really liking this Predator Galio just to have early impact on the map and also be able to play around the jungler. And it's going to be about the speed here, because you've got Predator and you've got Ghost on your jungler.
I mean, you're not the only ones. Predator, Galio, and LPL every single game pretty much. So, yeah, it's about influence. I love that you brought that up, because it is a boot start from Nesty. Now, a lot of the time we see a pretty standard start from the Galio mids, but boot start is not always taken. So I'm kind of more interested to see what he can do in the first couple of levels. I've seen some crazy level 3s from Galio as well. I mean, look at this. Just goes and smacks Uniboy down for a quick trade. Remembering that Predator isn't the longest cooldown in the world, so nice little opening here. But I want to ask you, Nightstar, a little bit about jungle pathing here. When we know how strong the lanes look from J-Team, what Hana can do in the early impact of this game.
Yeah, for Hana, he really just wants to... Okay, I think we're going to have to put that on the back burner real quick.
Yeah, because Kongyue wants a level 2 Jarvan gank as easy as they come. Hop not taken, the knock up there into the wall. He gets sent back by Driver. It's a flash burn as he about to go Mega Gnar. Driver won't let him. Kongyue with the big brain for first blood.
I mean, it's such a great knockup coming in from a Driver to boot him back. Leaky, unfortunately, also burns the flash. That's going to be a clear target of interest for J-Team coming up in these next 5 minutes. And when you were talking about pathing, I think for J-Team, we figured out where they're going to be pathing, because you have that missing flash. But for the side of DCG, we'll see the replay here. Driver places himself behind Leaky, so he tries to get the hop, but it's not good enough because Driver just positioned so perfectly well in that instance, and now he's going to have a big advantage. But going back to what Hana wants to do, he wants to make sure this Renata is able to get off the ground, is able to scale up here. So he's going to be trying to focus around bot side as much as possible.
For now, the wave pushing in, so Hana just still going about his clear. A Driver clearing away a ward, but they still don't know Hana's up here. I want to come back as well to what that first blood meant, because we already talked about Driver in this lane having a good time. That first blood, that damage output that he will be given when he makes his back will be a big deal, as Driver with the knockback again.
No mana.
But Leaky has the slow down. You pull out the mana, and Hana's on the way through to run him down. Driver into the turret, but it is the Ghost versus the Flash, as Driver will be sent packing.
Yeah, and because of what happened earlier on in that lane, that's why Hana is also turning his attention up topside before things get any worse for his Gnar. Gnar, of course, one of those champions that, while people play him a lot for his weak side capabilities, you really need to make sure his lane phase goes all right. And at the very least, Hana trying to mend that before it goes any worse and gets out of control.
So with the response there, we'll see if he pays an appearance to the top side once again, because there's no summoners whatsoever on Driver or Leaky. But lethality was picked up in Driver's back there as he's forced to go back, and now has the serrated Dirk, the tear up as well. Driver in a great position, and you can see already the trading hurts.
Yeah, and Leaky has pretty much no items. As
True.
he died early on, so he teleported back into lane and only got a refillable. So he's at a massive item deficit, and if he takes another death before level 6 hits, that could just be lane over.
Yeah, what were you saying? Because this is a good time to mention that before level 6, Kongyue on the outskirts of vision is in the right place at the right time. Mega Gnar will be going down.
This wave is pushing
waiting
towards
for
him.
it to expire, at least getting towards the end. The crunch being used, but Kongyue still in a good
Oh, he
sidestep
whipped.
from Leaky. No, Leaky stepped forward. It was a nice little sidestep, and Kongyue won't be able to get the kill.
Oh, the side of J-Team, they just got way too impatient on that play. You already know the wave's starting to push towards you. You don't have to force that play right then and there. You could have waited for that wave to come out and force him in a trickier position, but they end up overplaying their hand, and Leaky able to get out of that is like he's still in a bad spot, right? Because Driver is still up a lot of CS, gets himself that tower play, but at the very least, you don't lose more by dying in that situation.
No, you don't. Good little stop at the back here from Leaky as well. But he had to walk to lane, missed a couple of minions at the turret. Turret plating went over to Driver too. So at the very least, we're going to see what this Jace turns that item into. It won't be a clip this early on, but the component's there. And the Vampiric Scepter comes through nice and early. So again, the lane continues to be nice here for J-Team's top laner Driver. And as we look across the board, we could say the same about mid too. Uniboy having a good time against Nesty now that they've hit level 6 as well.
So now things will kind of get evened up as far as pressure goes, right? Because you are able to turn your attention towards bot lane with either Hana or Nesty. So whichever way, so options now open up a little bit more for Hana on this Hecarim. He doesn't have to babysit Leaky, but it does mean that Nesty will have to really cover whichever lane that Hana is turning his attention towards.
And he will have level 6 now as well, so it becomes easier to make that play work. Onslaught of Shadows, Hero's Entrance, even if it comes towards bot, which you were talking about being a focus for DCG, Woody's ultimate, that massive hostile takeover, it all layers down with what DCG have to offer with their other ultimates too. So I'm kind of excited to see them pile up and pull off, I guess, the execution here when we have a Dragon available, when we have a Herald soon too, both up and available for a response opportunity for DCG.
Now Hana's up in the top side. The wave is coming towards him.
Okay, Leaky with the ultimate, but a good knockback here from Driver. The flash crunch immediately on top.
Okay.
Leaky, that was sick, and Hana is the cleanup crew in the rest of the play.
I thought maybe it was once more just an opportunity perhaps rushed a little bit too hard, but Woody possibly going to get picked off.
Yeah, Uniboy's trying to bait this one out. Woody walking in would be certain death with the charm, but Uniboy now on top of a ward. DCG still here. Look at the numbers advantage. Spirit Rush will have to be used, but taunted instead. That's so greedy. Uniboy late to pull the trigger, and he pays for it with his life. Kongyue here as well.
Wait,
J-Team, what are you doing? Cataclysm, he gets the steal, but hostile takeover for the zone. DCG not going to start the fight. I take it back. Kongyue with a huge brain, and Driver helps Lil B get the kill. Now with the ulti out and the Super Mega Death Rocket as response. J-Team heading forward. Woody the next target. It's a double kill. Kongyue thinking into the future with that follow-up play.
Kongyue is just ahead of the play. And now also level 6 onto the Alistar. They cannot walk up to defend this tower. This tower will go down with that extra Herald. And J-Team, they just managed to pretty much blow this game wide open. For a side of DCG, like, we're going to see the replay, but wow. Kongyue just big brain that all the way.
I mean, it looked impossible. He's in front of 4 people. The ult, the stealing of Rift Herald, and suddenly DCG are down 2,000 gold. After what was such a brilliant topside gank from Leaky and Hana, I just can't believe that DCG lost control after this replay we're about to see here.
Yeah, Uniboy, he gets picked off. They use the Predator
That's so greedy.
I mean, that's just the strength of Predator Galio right there. But they know that bot lane is making the roam, and you have the extra 80 carry advantage along with a Jace that just bought items. So they dodge out on the hostile takeover, and this is why I wasn't too keen on it. But now the turn comes because they have Driver here now, and fresh off a back, he's got a lot more damage than anyone else on DCG.
He does. And cleanup here from Lil V, a good news story as well after the play. We come back to a J team that are now in control. They've lost the first Dragon, but it doesn't matter. This is Zeri down here with 2 kills to a name. And a Trinity Force well and truly on the way. Lil V in a great position. Uniboy the same even after dying. And Driver still having control within the lane. So at this point, DCG gonna be looking for this next objective, and you know, coming back to what we've been talking about, the setup here for these ultis. We're gonna have to wait and see if DCG can pull it out again.
Enzo has the ultimate, so that's what he was looking for, to try and look for a dive attempt in that point in time. But Nesty doesn't have the ultimate himself, so he can't answer with his own. And yeah, coming into the mid-game, J-Team with a big advantage right now. Once these mythics come online, it's a massive power spike, right? Eclipse, the extra lethality, the Triforce is the biggest one-item power spike you could possibly get in bottom lane. And Cascada, like, he's nowhere close to his own mythic here. So a large AD carry gap at the moment for this next fight, which might happen around the Dragon that's coming up in 3 minutes.
Yeah, Cloud Dragon second. A lot of competitive teams will fight over this, considering that they know the Dragon Soul is going to be something very valuable this game. So we'll see what happens here. Another 3 minutes to wait it out. But for the time being, that Trinity Force now picked up those mythics you were just talking about, completed in a couple of seconds we were talking here. Uniboy with the Everfrost 2. 4 versus none for the time being. And J-Team know they're strong. Just kind of moving this game into a more successful point. Like, what more could you want right now as DCG play catch-up?
Yeah, and we're not going to see those extra mythics come in for DCG at the moment because of the fact that they are going for the upgraded boots choices, right? So the only one with the mythic is going to be Cascada, and he's gone for the Gale Force in this instance, knowing that he needs a way to get out of the Cataclysm. Once that Jarvan ult gets tossed onto him, if he doesn't have Gale Force, he is just stuck unless if he burns that flash. So he's trying to give him extra outs at the moment, and he will also cash in on that call.
Even with champions like Hecarim, Galio as well, getting outside the range, getting outside the range of Arya, I was trying to say, Zeri, the Alistar. Same team, but listen to what I'm saying. The core of it is, it's going to have multiple uses, but you're right. It's going to be hard to get out of any of those abilities because once that's down, Flash as well, Chris Carter's still going to dodge quite a lot. So we'll see how this Jinx goes in the fights, especially with a minute 30 till the Dragon spawns. Enzo waiting off to the wing, hoping that Chris Carter walks in, but a nice little control ward spots him out, and Chris Carter will be able to safely push out with Hana at his wing. We are just lolling about until this objective. And note as well that it could be either of the objectives traded off because Herald will be spawning around the same time.
Yeah, and for J-Team, I mean, ideally you'd take a look at both of them because of how much pressure you do have on the map, right? Again, these lanes can just shove up whenever they want. So they should be able to get lane priority in pretty much all of them. And then you're going to have a bit of a stronger team fight at the moment. Although mythics are being matched, and Lil V getting his backstop could be critical, as he will be just there for the Dragon. But
yep,
DCG not looking to take advantage of that timing.
Yeah, more about the setup, I guess. Mid gets pushed out, DCG clearing vision towards top side. And Enzo's getting deep bot. So as Chris Carter pushes out the bottom side wave, J-Team moving up. Enzo's de-warding by himself. Nesty with the slow, but DCG not committing. Look where Woody is. Everfrost comes through, but the charm does not. Spirit Rush out. Enzo has to ult. The support making a crucial mistake, dewarding by himself, and DCG, no one's going to get caught out with the response play.
Right, but it's going to be Woody that suffers the consequences as he takes a larger chunk. Still has the Guardian, of course. That's going to provide that little bit of shield, and now Leaky's on the chase.
Flash for Flash. Leaky pulls out the pressure play. Dragon now started. Kongyo won't have that, but the Flag and Drag and Cataclysm still available. But Driver's angle is big, and I'm glad you put that out, Nightstar. Leaky's Meganar with the ulti as well is going to be down. So DCG playing with the numbers advantage.
Enzo!
They're all in. Enzo forced the flash. A hostile takeover on the backside, though. Won't matter a deal because Driver's here doing the rest. Hana can't get the reset with the bailout, and DCG are bailed out themselves. It's J-Team with the big dragon play, the big team fight win, and the gold continuing to skyrocket in their favor.
J-Team, I mean, they just find such a brilliant team fight execution on that play coming in from Enzo. He comes over with the flash, finds a multi-man knockup, and with that, it's just all DCG really just all over the place right after the engage comes through. We're going to see Enzo come over with the flash, and he's going to find Leaky and Frescata with that. And like, Frescata has a great flash in that instance, but I mean, the job was pretty much already done. Forcing out that flash right there, and after the Mega Gnar goes down, along with the Gnar ultimate, you just have no right to stick around for that fight.
And I mean, after that, like, we can see how fickle DCG's comp can be. How ult-reliant, how important the setup is around these fights. And you're right, when one tool's down, the DCG it just looks so hard, and J-Team collapse. They corrupt the minds of DCG, and we've got a pretty big gold gap now brewing. The second Herald going down as well. You talked about J-Team being able to look at both objectives, where they're in pocket for now. We have an Infernal Soul spawning this game. And this turret's about to go down up and top side. It's all coming up, J-Team, in this game of today.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh my god. Kongyo wants to go in. Why wouldn't you? I mean, Driver just does so much damage with 2 items.
Yeah, and now here's the issue. Even the Rift is playing against you, right? Because with Infernal Soul, if it opens up the map a little bit more, that means it's even harder to find that Mega Gnar ult onto multiple members into a stun, right? You could still find it on multiple members, but getting the stun off is a whole nother issue. They'll be able to crack this tier 1 in that mid lane, and now all of a sudden J-Team gaining a lot of momentum here, almost to a 4K gold lead.
In the battle for second, J-Team coming out strong. We're 18 minutes into the game, moving into a very strong mid game for them, where we're getting those 2 items too. Little V's almost towards the Titanic Hydra. We've almost got 2 items on a Zeri that's going to be clearing waves like no tomorrow. Driver, he'll have upgraded boots and then head on to his 3rd item as well. I love that Hana thinking that there's more in the brush, but he'll won't find anyone. And this has kind of been a game where J-Team have flexed through the laning phase itself. We've seen Driver just do so well, and Kongyue's level 2 gank has meant so much for J-Team.
Yeah, Kongyue ganking up that top side very early on, and Leaky expending the flash for that gank and still dying. Large repercussions afterwards. And now, like, J-Team are in a really great spot for DCG. It's not quite over, because when you have these Wombo comps, you can always just find that one perfect fight where everything lines up. But whenever you have a Galio in the mid lane, there's always that clock.
Yeah, definitely is. Finesse hasn't done too much here with the hero's entrance. And to be fair as well, like, we haven't seen that Wombo come through with the Gnar ultimate. It has been one after the other. You know, Woody's ultimate as well. The Renata's ulti hasn't come through in succession with everything else. And kind of makes you wonder here for DCG as they've drafted together a comp that needs to line up. And it's not lining up. So we've got 55 seconds till the next dragon. we'll see if they fight over that, because at this point, look at how strong J-Team are. 2 items now complete in front of this neutral. The only second item for DCG that's completed is Chris Carter's, and that's going to build his range, but not going to be able to deal with the burst that Uniboy has with the Void Star. Okay, Kongyo walking in, but is he dead? The answer, no for now. But he's in front of Dragon, and it is the jungler. Enzo just gets baited in with a blast cone, and luckily he'll get out.
Yeah, it does take a big chunk, so he'll need to find something to heal off of. Otherwise, it's going to be starting out... Oh, well, actually, he does have red buff, so he will get some sustain coming out. But DCG, they need to find this fight. Uniboy out on the flank. They need to find someone to mark him. And Cascada, he's already chunked out.
But Nesty's there waiting for him. Shielded around, but Spirit Rush immediately backwards.
Oh, good taunt!
To Uniboy, and down he goes. But Hunter into the backline. The play not great as look at Kongyue's setup. The hero's entrance up to the back, but Little V is
still alive.
Firing, and Driver kites back. It doesn't matter. DCG right now need this Jinx with a mana bar, but she's run on out, and Lil V is skirting around. Flash forward, another one bites the dust, and Lil V versus Chris Carter. I know the hero. It's J-Team in the battle for second.
And it's the electric 80 carry that comes out on top. Lil V just taking over that fight after a fantastic setup coming in from Konria to lock down 3 members of DCG after that initial pick coming in from Nesty. It started out well, right? Because they were able to pick off Uniboy before the fight starts, essentially. But Hana, a very baffling move, just dives straight into the back line, and again, like, this was not a Renata angle. This was not a Renata angle, as the ult just completely whiffs, and J-Team, they just have more health bars to play around with, and unfortunately for DCG, their only win condition has no mana. Cascada pretty much out of mana in this instance, and just unable to get that next reset to get the proc of Presence of Mind to try and snowball the rest of that fight.
That's why you put Lil V on Zeri. I mean, this guy has been a focus. Like, I remember talking to Clement about the strengths of this team, and it was towards the start of the split, where Kongyue and Uniboy, it wasn't their greatest form. It was about Lil V and how this team played, but now they've got so many different dimensions. Driver has come into a league of his own. Kongyue has returned to, I'd even say, mad form at this point. Kongyue is one of my favorite junglers from the LMS, and I'm glad that we're seeing him in top tier caliber, especially in this game, as good charm comes through. Looks like we want to fight again as J-Team are pushing their advantage. Nightstar, it's an 8k gold lead. They got the last dragon. J-Team right now, look at the side lane pressure that they've controlled all game long. Uniboy and Driver have always been split pushing this game, and that's why we're up to inhibitor turrets in top and bottom.
Yeah, the waves are crashing in on the sides, and I mean, look at this Lil V build, right? He knows he's 5-0-4. He has a very large gold bounty. He just expended his cleanse. So, I mean, it is coming up, but if a fight were to break out, he now has a QSS. So, there is a lot of safety. He understands that going this defensive build, while might not work out on even footing, they're so far ahead that it's about protecting the lead rather than trying to win a team fight.
And look at how many damage sources they have as well. Driver and Uniboy are still going to be fleshing it out, so many different angles to play through. Lil V just looking to survive while we have a 2.5 item Ari. Despite getting caught in the last play, is still a threat. A Driver as well, his angles are great, and even J-Team here fighting from the back. Hana ulties in on the Driver, but it might not matter because, again, Little V in the backside untouched. J-Team 4 versus 5, but you have to deal with Little V hitting them down for now. J-Team running for the hills. They're split up, and now it definitely matters. DCG have picked them apart, and J-Team with an innovative play, but just pad execution coming through. DCG will find big picks, and J-Team for now are halted in their aggression.
Man, J-Team were creative in the wrong ways.
Yep.
On that engage angle. Now it's going to be Baron started up. We'll see if they can stop it.
Well, the problem is still Lil
They're all
V. He's
stuck.
firing away. They're running into him. Uniboy gets the kill. DCG might have to pull off this. I'm not sure. In without a jungler.
They're all dead.
Look
They're
at
just
this
dead.
behind the Baron pit. Lil V firing through, but Leaky's ulti brings it right back. He'll get the bailout for now as Driver jumps on in. Never mind. In with Baron going down. So many members dying. Leaky does get bailed out, but his time is at an end. J-Team burn themselves, but the Baron remains only on Woody.
It is certainly debatable as far as if that was a good play for the side of DCG, but I think they needed to force that Baron play, and they still get everything they came for. They get the objective bounty, they get themselves a Baron buff still alive, and it's a lot of gold back into their hands. Like, they also got the shutdown onto Lil V, so it's a lot of gold back into them, which helps even out the playing field, but it doesn't change the fact that this was ugly. But a great bailout, honestly, is the only saving grace here from this Renata. I think that's the only positive Renata play we've seen.
It helps Leaky get a 1k gold shutdown as well for what it's worth, but you're right, that's the only time this game we've seen Woody come into clutch, so nice here from DCG. They do have one Baron, and grouping up with the rest of the team, it'll help push down the mid lane. But look at top, look at bot, the wave's building up. J-Team right now grouping themselves with Dragon available. They have side lane priority, and they have River for theirs for now.
A lot of control in this bottom half of the map for the side of J-Team.
Oh.
And, I mean, DCG, they probably just have to let this one go.
Oh
no.
Okay, he wants to steal. He definitely wants to steal. The ult goes to the back line, but Lil V not going to be hit. Leaky goes into Meganar, but look at him run forward. Driver as well with the burst damage. Kiting front to back. Lil V aggressing forward. They force him off the Dragon. They move to Soul Point. J-Team 7,000 gold ahead. DCG trying to get into these fights, Nightstar, but it looks so difficult to manage.
Yeah, and it's really hard for them to play out these fights because of Leaky is really the only main tank, and yeah.
Look at Lil V. Look at Lil V
Oh,
step
man.
up. There goes the QSS, but
okay, that's one
once
cooldown
again,
at least.
At least. But everyone's going to be down for a little bit. J-Team is still going to aggress forward against the Baron of Woody. They cannot.
Yeah, it is the saving grace that they were able to save a Baron buff, and even if it's on the support, although, you know, the support doesn't exactly eat poke very well, and because it is the Shurelias and not the Moonstone, not going to have a lot of staying power when it comes to these siege situations.
Well, as he resets, Woody's going to run out of that Baron, though, in about 1 second. So down it goes. And for DCG, this turret getting aggressed on. It comes down to a Meganar performance, but Leaky is out of range of J-Team. They buy that space once again, and it will just come down to the wave clear. So now we wait 2.5 minutes until the Baron just about Dragon Soul for J-Team with an Infernal for a Jace for an Ari. Just one that you got to be cheering about in 3.5 minutes too. Everything under J-Team's control, and DCG trying to force a pick. There's actually a Ghost being burnt by Hana. Driver's by himself. Enzo can't help this out. He cancels his back, but Driver doing a lot of damage. There's the onslaught of shadows from Hana. Leaky jumps in though, and half HP he gets to. No one can save him. DCG with the pick, and it's a shutdown at that.
Very nice shutdown there on to Driver, really slowing down that absolute menace he's been. However, at the same time, for the side of J-Team, not too concerned about that pick because DCG, they can't get anything off of that. There's no Dragon, no Baron up available, so a Driver will still be respawned in time for those objectives, and it's really just a nice little sack of gold for the side of DCG at the moment. But yeah, it's a tough game to play because all your gold is into this Gnar, and unless if he gets a god tier ult, which again a lot harder on Infernal Rift because there's a lot more space to play around. It also makes it more difficult for Galio to land a multi-mana ultimate. So everything is stacked against DCG.
It is. And that's why we've been talking a lot about J-Team's success in this game. Although it has been somewhat back and forth despite the gold lead, J-Team have been in control for the majority. Little pick here, but nice flag from Kongyue into DCG. Are spotted out, have to back away. It's a minute in front of the Baron. And there's enough spacing here between the two objectives that JT can force this one first, look for DCG, and then move to Sol if they choose.
Yeah, and for DCG, yes, all the gold is onto the Gnar, and we have to pay attention to that Mega Gnar ultimate, but really all eyes are on Cascada, on this Jinx to carry the fight. He needs that first reset. He has the items to try and do it, right? He's hit that triple crit mark, doesn't quite have the IE yet, so he's not that strong, but very powerful.
Okay. Wants a flank here. Kongyue is knocked back into Leaky. He's about to go Mega Gnar, but Hana was really trying for an angle on Lil V on Driver. Not going to be obtained. J-Team still having priority over this Baron. 10 seconds till it spawns, and look at the vision control. Look at top wave once again. Nightstar, everything in their favor to catch DCG by surprise.
Yeah, it's just full vision controlled by the side of J-Team at the moment, with Dragon coming up, with Baron already up. It's all about this next Dragon, but at the same time, J-Team could try and force something around the Baron right before and see if DCG are looking to flip before the more important objective.
I hope so, because that would be fun. We've had a lot of flips here today in a 24 kill game. That's what I expect. Is Kongyue almost caught out, but the TP saving the life here. Uniboy has come on in, and the charms a shallow bit short. Leaky moving forward, no Mega Gnar bar. J-Team right now want to contest here for the Sol point. Instead of going for that Baron, everyone's here for the party.
Dragon now spawning. Keep track of these flanks as Enzo, he is going the long way around.
He is, but he's spotted out. Hana doing the same thing on the back of the pit. Not only would this be a steal from the Sol, it would be an objective bounty to DCG. Uniboy in a great angle as Driver misses the Shock Blast combination, but Leaky's Mega Gnar bar. That's what I'm worried about. And Dragon hasn't reset here until about now, but it's
a good
halted.
window for DCG.
Aggression there. J-Team needs the steal, and he gets it. Kongyue secures as Hana goes down as well. Now to 5 versus 4. Leaky with a one-man ulti. The hero's entrance hits no one. DCG get nothing as the bailout will only buy time for Chris Carter. But it's J-Team's story here today in their battle for second.
J-Team, they just completely own that fight. DCG, they just have no steam left in their composition. They don't have any protection for this Jinx, and it's all about the dive. And what do you know? There's just no damage in the dive. Hana, he is going full tank, and so is that Gnar. So now with Gnar getting his back stalled out, that's just going to be the end.
Yeah, Lil V's here, make it a bit quicker. J-Team versus DCG. No longer will this be a tie. It's J-Team who move up to second in the penultimate day of the PCS.